Greetings, heroes and villains. Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with more My Hero Academia. Previously, the heteromorph uprising was finally calmed down once some of them got a good look at what they were about to do and those who they were about to harm in the hospital containing Kurogiri. It was only those of the Paranormal Liberation Front who wished for them to push forward, but the people realized that their actions would just harm others and not really make the change that they want to see happen. Coming to Shoji and Koda's defense, meanwhile, Spinner engaged in a battle of wills against Present Might, as Spinner, desperate to do something for Shigaraki, someone who accepted him unequivocally, did his best to awaken Kurogiri and get Kurogiri to go to Shigaraki's side. All the while Present Mike had to come to a fateful decision that if his good buddy Shirakumo was already gone, it'd be better that his body be blown to bits. But Spinner blocked the attack, and Kurogiri, awoken and ready to go to Shigaraki's side, glares back at his friend. What'll happen now? Join me as I find out, won't you? And you see Present Mike looking on in horror, Kurogiri observing the hand from Shigaraki. My Hero Academia, number 374, Butterfly Effect. You see dark clouds on the horizon coming towards the hospital where everyone is. And then we pick up back to the present, Washington State, USA. What? Why? A weather forecast. The weather lady says, the massive cumulonimbus storm system that sprang up over Japan is growing at a rapid pace. It may ride east on the jet stream and affect the weather in North America. According to the Weather Bureau, convection currents caused by repeated heat spikes have combined with a tropical low-pressure system in Japan's southwest to form an unprecedented type of enormous inferno cumulonimbus cloud. From all the heat that's being generated, it's affected. That's actually something that would happen. So much heat going on with Endeavor, Todoroki, Dabi. It would affect the weather over time with so much heat in such a localized area. Huh. Weird, the weather lady says. Can the flap of a butterfly's wings in Brazil really bring about a hurricane in Texas? Is it the fate of our superpower society, which began with a single glowing baby, to descend into utter chaos? Weather lady, you are going into some deep stuff right now. The power of a single man can change the world. And even someone, I guess the director is like, Meryl, what's with the ad-libbing? The weather lady says, I stand firmly opposed to the government's decision, no, to the world's decision to pander to all for one. Holy shit! That's what's up. I know it's ridiculous, but it's just like, it's addressing the fact that, the U.S. has kind of decided to kowtow to all for one, and naturally, this would be something that happens in America. I mean, it rarely happens, but sometimes newscasters do kind of go a little bit off on their own. The only downside here is she's probably not going to have a job after this, but kudos to her for standing up for what she believes in. And the director says, cut to commercial quick. Crap, she's already said it. I actually kind of love that. We cut to Japan, Kamina Ward. Todoroki subdued Dabi, or so they thought. But there's just this massive glow of heat just in the area. Even Burning is saying, talk about firepower. Ida tries to pull Todoroki back, saying, even you will be burned by that. You mustn't engage him again. You've already hit your limit with your phosphor move. Todoroki says, we've all hit our limits and then some. We gave it everything, and yet he's the only one still standing. That's still wild that he's using Todoroki's own move against him. Man, look at Dabi. God, his body is just charred. He looks like a monster. Todoroki says, even though I share a father's blood too, only Toy is able to keep going. He's just fueled by pure malice, though. Dabi thinks to himself, dear old dads at Gunga, huh? Way too far away. They really screwed us splitting us up with those portals. If I kept duking it out with Shoto in the hope of bringing Dad a parting gift. My body won't last. Yeah, so what you gonna do, man? God, it almost looks like some of his fingers are falling off. And Dobby, just fire bursts from his feet as he levitates upward. It's kind of janky, though. He starts flying over the buildings and they melt from the heat from his flames. Todoroki shouts out, "He's trying to fly over to our father!" Burning thinks to herself, this goes way beyond powering through with that sheer will he's inherited. It doesn't make sense. I thought his body wasn't made for heat. How the hell is he not falling to pieces? Todoroki shouts to Dobby, "Get back here. I'm still on my feet. You want to kill me, right? Looks like you're the half-baked one now." I don't know who's speaking. I think it might be one of the Nomu, who says, "Ahem, Mr. Daddy Issues. I know I said no pestering, but I have fantastic news. Apparently you get to travel free of charge." So a portal opens up, I guess ready to take Dobby over to Endeavor. Meanwhile, UA, High, Midoriya versus All for One. You have Manuel, Monoma, and Aizawa all on that platform, with Monoma still using Aizawa's abilities to try to keep Shigaraki's body, with All for One possessing it, in check. Manuel says to Monoma, "The wind's really picking up. My control over the water might slip. Are you hanging in there, Monoma?" "Manuel, you got one job, buddy. You better not slip." Monoma says, "The battle will go down in the history books, right? I'll make sure the Ministry of Education points out that we won here because of me." Monoma, I swear. In that cage, we've got Eggshot, Lemillion, Genus, and Midoriya fighting for all of us. I'd be a fool to whine about the measly need to blink. I know that's right. It's like, I'm watching one of the greatest battles in history. For me to complain about blinking. Yeah, no. See, I didn't even realize they were on a platform attached to UA. I thought they were just in this offshoot section. And it's brilliant, but at the same time, it's like, now that the weather is getting choppy, and with this floating UA thingy, it's getting bad out here. And you got Deku going up against Shigaraki, whose body is inflating like a balloon. The hell? And someone says, the experiences of one's youth determine the entirety of one's life. True. Oh, and more than anything else, I place faith in a person's emotion. You see a portal open up right behind Aizawa, Monoma, and Manuel, and you see Present Mike pop right on out of it as Aizawa looks behind him in shock. Oh, snap. See, I've been wondering, because it felt weird that certain things were in certain locations, and it made me go, it's odd that things played out the way they did. But the voice calls on, it's gotta be All for One, saying, the feelings he harbors for his friends after leading such a dark life. And we pick up in the Gunga Mountain Villa ruins, Endeavor versus All for One. Yep, it's All for One saying, you kept Kurogiri in the dark, so to help him take immediate action, I planted a micro device in one of Shimura's hands. Yes, Iguchi played his part. You see two portals open up right next to Endeavor, and as he looks over in shock, he sees Dobby come through, who says, "Hiya, Dad." Jeez, that image of Dobby. And All for One says, "What's more?" Oh, snap. Twice? Who says, "Oh, Hawks." Is it Toga? Because she had his blood. All for One says, the death of that sad, sad man gave rise to rancor in a young woman's heart. The man who would overrun the world to make good on his grudges gave that femme fatale just the tool she needed to bring ruin to all. Now you've got a front row seat, Takami. Time to learn how it might have turned out if you hadn't made his death your top priority back then. Jeez. Holy shit. And Davi just looks on and says, kill them right now! I'd honestly been wondering why we hadn't cut to Toga versus Uraka and Froppy, but maybe we're about to find out next. Because I kept wondering when we were gonna go with the fact that Toga had some of Twice's blood. When was that going to come into play? But man, for the plan to have hinged on that so much, I mean, this is exactly why Hawks killed twice. It's like, no, with twice, it is an infinite army. Yeah, they go down with like a hit or two, but I mean, how do you stop this if it's an infinite army? Now, things are finally really starting to feel like we're headed to the finale. Because I kept thinking, I'm like, no, something's not right with the placement of everything. Like, is Dabi really just gonna go down never confronting his dad? And now that we have this, and Present Mike, Kurogiri, and Eraser all in the same place, stuff like that is just like, okay, now we're entering into the final stuff. Because so much of everything else we've had up until now has felt like a prelude. Like we were building towards something more. And then we had the fight between Deku and Shigaraki. I'm like, yeah, but it feels like there's some other twist waiting to happen. Even with All For One getting revitalized, he said he'd die soon. There's something else that's missing. But the fact that the plan hinged so much on Spinner getting to Kurogiri, that is remarkable, honestly speaking. Like, Spinner really turned the tide of things because of this. And I have to wonder, is Todoroki gonna follow Dabi through the portal? Because I can't imagine Shoto just being out of the whole events and stuff. No, this has to go in these neat little boxes. Endeavor, Todoroki, well, Shoto, and Dabi in one place, Present Mike, Eraser, and Kurogiri in another. The fact that Toga is now going after Hawks is kind of cool, because it's just like, yes. Say what you will about Hawks wanting to kill Dabi again, but he knows how dangerous Dabi is. He knows how dangerous Twice is. This changes everything. But it also leaves the question, what happened to Toga? What happened to Froppy? What happened to Aravity? Because I really do feel like we need that final confrontation between Toga, Uraraka, and Deku. That's another thing that needs to happen. So we'll see. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you like this twist of things? Do you feel like it's a little too convenient for things to work out so well? I mean, this was a pretty big gamble on All For One's part. But I'm interested to hear from you. But also remember to like, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff. And until the next video, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye.